Hello and thanks for joining us for our mid-morning edition of ARIRANG News. I'm Mark Broom. We start with the latest developments on the fallout from the Choesun-sil scandal. The chair of the main opposition Democratic Party of Korea has suggested holding one-on-one talks with President Park Geunhye to find a solution to the crisis sparked by her close relationship with Che. Saying it's her duty as the leader of the main opposition party, Chumye said it was time to talk frankly with the president to find a solution to the ongoing paralysis in state affairs. The minor opposition People's Party has criticized Chu, saying she made the announcement without consulting with the other opposition parties. The ruling Saenuri Party's pro-Park faction, including party leader Lee Jung-hyun, have vowed to take steps to overcome the current paralysis in state affairs. The non-pro-Park wing of the party has decided to go their own separate way. President Park Geunhye is mulling all options to resolve the crisis, with the prosecution's investigation into what she personally knew just a day or two away now. Before that happens, she may sit down for a one-on-one with the main opposition party leader Chumye to communicate with the National Assembly. In a daily briefing, the president's spokesperson said the office had received Chu's proposal and is considering whether it's appropriate to meet with the leader of a single party when the president had proposed a multilateral one with the leaders of all the major parties. The top office also rebuffed speculation that one of President Park's key North Korea initiatives, that unification is a bonanza, was actually Choesun-sil's idea. The spokesperson said it's the title of a book published by a Jungang University professor, and that the president had cited the concept many times at the Presidential National Unification Advisory Council. Now, staying with the scandal and the probe into it, the prosecutor's office is focusing a lot of its energy right now on the presidential office. President Park's General Affairs Secretary Lee Jae-man and Public Relations Planning Aide An Bong-gun have been summoned for investigation as references, as prosecutors want to inquire their testimonies before the president's investigation takes place this week. Now, he is in charge of handling all documents inside the top office, while An is alleged to have lent his vehicle to Choesun-sil while he was serving as President Park's personal secretary. The prosecution earlier booked Presidential Personal Secretary Jong Ho-sung, who is suspected of leaking classified documents to Che in person. Now, the three, also known as the Gateway Trio, are alleged to have used their close ties to the president based on their decades-long relations with her, and were considered more powerful than the president's chief aides, influencing direct power over the president's agenda. Now, in other news, South Korea and Japan are set to tentatively sign an intelligence sharing pact in Tokyo later today. An official at Seoul's Defense Ministry says the two countries will hold their third working-level talks for the signing. This comes just 18 days after the South Korean government said it was resuming talks despite growing criticism that it failed to garner enough public support. The ministry official says the agreement is necessary to counter North Korea's growing nuclear and missile threats. If signed, Seoul plans to strike the deal by the end of this month. The talks were halted 4 years ago after a public backlash in Korea. U.S. President-elect Donald Trump has tapped Republican National Committee Chairman Reince Priebus as his new chief of staff. Trump has also made some follow-up remarks on his previous statements on nuclear proliferation and immigration issues. Kim Mo-kyun has more.
Last week, Reince Priebus was reportedly running neck and neck with Trump's campaign CEO Steve Bannon for the position of chief of staff. But Trump's team has announced that Bannon, who is also executive chairman of Breitbart News, will instead serve as a chief strategist and senior counselor to the president. Watchers say the appointment of Priebus as chief of staff suggests Trump is interested in a more conventional approach to governing. President-elect Trump said he was thrilled to have a very successful team and added that both men are highly qualified leaders who will help him make America great again. Earlier in the day, Trump denied previous statements where he said more countries should acquire nuclear weapons. He took to Twitter on Sunday stating that the New York Times will lose thousands of subscribers because of its poor and inaccurate coverage of the Trump phenomena. His remarks come as the newspaper published an article about Trump's statements on foreign policy made in March, including suggestions to allow South Korea and Japan to develop their own nuclear weapons for self-defense in order to lessen U.S. security burdens. Regarding the immigrant issue, Trump said that he plans to immediately deport up to 3 million undocumented immigrants who have criminal records after his inauguration in January. In an interview with CBS, the president-elect said that once the criminal immigrants are out of America and the border is secured, his administration will begin to deal with other undocumented immigrants whom he referred to as terrific people. Kim Mo-kyan, ARIRANG News.
Now, a very powerful 7.8 magnitude earthquake hit New Zealand's South Island on Sunday, triggering a tsunami alert for the entire east coast. Prime Minister John Key said in a news conference that as of dawn, 2 people had been confirmed dead. According to the US Geological Survey, the earthquake struck 91 kilometres northeast of Christchurch just after midnight local time. A series of large aftershocks, some measuring more than 6 in magnitude, continued more than an hour after the first quake. A new stock market for startup businesses in Korea is now up and running. Korea Exchange opened the over-the-counter market earlier on this Monday. It's called KRX Startup Market, or KSM, and it's aimed at helping firms raise funds easily and putting their shares on the market for investors to buy and sell. In order to trade on the market, startups are required to raise funds through crowdfunding programs online or hold recommendations from state-run financial organizations like the Korea Development Bank. Well, that's all the news we have here for now. Our next bulletin is coming up at noon Korea time. In the meantime, please stay tuned to ARIRANG TV. Until our next bulletin, goodbye.